Hello everybody, this is Lila in Hawaii. I'm making a couple of Christmas projects and I thought I would shoot a video of one of them that's really easy, and it can be used as an ornament or a bag to hold candy or jewelry or whatever. So this is the little bag. I've made them before. I love them. I love it when they sort of squish down like that. Let's see, can you see that? Yeah. So that's one version. This is actually not a version of it, but I kind of used some of the same techniques. It was just because I had this piece of satin left over. So this is a rusty red satin, and I'm going to show you how I make this, which is real easy. It has a round bottom, no cardboard or anything in there, just 2 layers of fabric, and you can, once you stuff this, stuff it with whatever you want to stuff it with. It really takes it on a different shape. Now, first of all, I'll show you the materials I used. I used satin. It's a Dutchess satin, and I think it's drapery weight. And the measurement is 13 inches by 7. That's all you need for fabric, 13 by 7. And then you need a piece of contrast of some sort. I like to put a sheer over for the holidays. I like to put a sheer for some glitz. So I cut a piece of this, and that was 3 inches wide, and I've appliqued it to the bottom, and it just gives it a different look. Then on top of that, of course, you put whatever trims you want, and I thought I'd show you how you can change up the color. Say you didn't want red, you liked purple, and oh my goodness, that is purple, isn't it? But think of this, when you put that over top of it, it totally changes it. And you could cover the whole bag with that. You could just put a border on the bottom, and by the type of trim you put on there, it would look very elegant. Also, I may have told you, did I? You need 2 circles, 2 4-inch circles, and they're not right sides together, they're wrong sides together of fabric. This is for the base. I've already stitched around it just to hold it together, and it's about 1 centimeter. And you want to clip in here and there. I haven't finished clipping, but just clip in to, not quite to the seam line. This doily that it's sitting on, I didn't iron it first. I should have. It's another one of my mother's that I like to show from time to time. She did beautiful embroidery, old-fashioned style, and crochet. And this is the New Zealand Christmas flower called the Pahutakawa. And so she embroidered that and then crocheted the edge. She's no longer with us, but this is one of her legacies. She was absolutely beautiful at embroidering. And her eyesight, wasn't the best, and she sometimes had trouble finding the threads and whatever, but she turned out some beautiful pieces. Anyway, so first of all, you sew the organza on the bottom. I want to make sure that, yeah, that's pointing the right direction. I've got in frame, I hope. So I've sewn the organza on. You want to sew a stitch down that edge too to just stop it fraying, but also you need a stitching line there, and then you need a stitching line at the top, just a narrow stitching line. This does not have the casing in this fabric. The casing is made with those velvet ribbons, so we are going to just fold over a hem, but I like to do that after I've sewn the side seam. So the next thing to do is sew a side seam, and I hope that I've got everything set up here and shot. I hope so. I hope it's in focus, in other words. But anyway, I just do a little back stitch. No fancy hems, no fancy anything. You don't need to overcast the seams or do anything. Just so. This is only a gift thing that probably get thrown away or something. So don't be too fussy about all the finishing inside. Okay, so that's done. I'm just going to take that back. Turn this off a minute. Alright, so now this is done. This is the inside. I've done a seamed down there, about a centimetre seam. Now, in order to put this in the bottom, I know everybody thinks it's kind of hard, and I don't think it's that hard, but what I do, this is just my method, is I take a pen and I make 4, and of course some of these pens don't work too well on satin, so anyway, I make 4 marks on the bottom. That's 1. I'm counting this as the hem as 2. Then I'm going to fold it the other way. And I'm going to do that here. So that's all I need to do for that. And I do the same on this. I fold it in half this way. Just make sure when you fold it the other way you match up these things correctly. And then you turn it this way. Make sure that those are matching. That's the only thing. Don't think that's quite matching. Okay. And then put a little black here. This won't show, so it's okay. You could use erasable pen or something, which I don't have. This works just fine. The other thing you need is you need cord, about a yard of cord, and 2 rusty Christmas bells. That's what I use anyway. I rust them myself. Anyhow, now to start this off, okay, I'm going to start the side seam like I usually do. Okay, so there's that one. It's right sides together. Sometimes you get it wrong and it's frustrating. Circles are bugaboos for a lot of people. And for this occasion, it doesn't have to be exactly precise. But you know, sometimes it has to be precise. And that's where it gets to be difficult. And I think it's always best to baste it in that case, instead of just... Okay, so I've got to this point. That's the last one. And notice I can't reach that around. Now this is where I do have to turn it, so I can get the last one done. And I'll be sewing from the inside. So here we are. I started off backwards before. Okay, so this is the last spot and the last one. There. And now I'm just going to sew around, and you sew between each pin, and you'll notice you may have to either ease it a little bit or stretch it a little bit if it'll stretch. And as I said, it doesn't have to be totally precise. I elongate the stitch, so my stitch is 3.5. It's a straight stitch, but I do like to make it longer. Don't sew over the pins, Lila. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm just fastening off. I think I'm going to sew with the needle down. That makes it easier to sort of pull it into shape. Okay. And you could go on slow speed. I've got on rather fast speed, so I've put it down to slow. Okay. So I've sewn around like so. And as I say, it doesn't matter if there's a little wrinkle here and there. I think I have got possibly a wrinkle somewhere. And I notice that where I've got this seam, it's folded over, and I don't care for that being folded like that. So before I go over further, I am going to... Oh, I hope I didn't cut through the fabric. Pretty close. Eek. Okay. You can always fix things later if you've done something goofy. As I say, it's just that. Now I've got this top, I've got the bottom done. No pressing needed. Now I do need to sew a seam around the top. It's not for a drawstring, it's just to neaten it. So I'll be starting at the side seam. That's done. Now I've gone ahead, cut a piece of this. I cut a yard. I've already tied a bell on one end. I was able to get it through. Later on I'll go back and I'll glue that knot and I'll trim this off. So where am I? So you want to start not at the seam. Don't want to start at the seam. You want to and trim the threads away. Start, you know, somewhere prettier, maybe second thing in from there. So go through here. I did put a little glue on the ends of this cord so it wouldn't fray and make it a little stiffer to go through. I have a hard time doing all this stuff on camera. I feel like I'm all thumbs. Oh. Especially since I've had carpal tunnel and some ganglions in both hands, surgery, and are still numb. They said it'll take about a year for that. Okay, so anyhow, so that's through, and that might be, in my opinion, that's going to be too long, because you're going to pull this like this, and then tie a one loop bow. At least that's what I like to do. So I'm going to pull this to about there, and then figure out, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to already go like this. Okay, because I'm going to make this into a one loop bow. Let me do it this way. This is the way I want to do it. So that this hangs down. You could do a two loop bow. I like a one loop bow. Okay, so I've got that done. So now I know that this is going to be too long. And I think I'll probably cut it about there. And hopefully I can get it through this. I've got another one of these. I had another one the same. What I did before was I kind of cut it on a slant. And I did have glue on it before. Now the glue's gone. So I'm not sure I can get that through. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Ah, yay. Good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is tie. I'm not going to take time to do that. Anyway, this needs to come off. As I said, I'm going to glue those and fasten those nicely, and I may even sew them a little bit just there to fix it. I like these loose. I think it kind of looks like Santa's costume, which was my original idea. So that's one, and it's just scraps of things that I have hanging around. I used fat, what are they called? Charm squares, that's what they are, because they're 5 inches, and if you're cutting 4 inches, well, you only have a little bit of wastage. So that's one. This is another one. And then this one was some leftovers that I just, you know, you could put cigars for a man in there. You could put a nice little bit of makeup in there for a young girl. This also has bells. They just sound really nice. So that's that. I think that's all I can show you for that. Have fun anyway. And show me if you make any. I'd love to see that. Thanks for watching. This is Lila in Hawaii. Bye-bye.